Hi. So I am doing a 5-minute presentation. It's an informative speech for Communications 175, and I'll attach any other information that I need to give in the email. Okay, so here is a presentation on an informative speech on serial killers. Do you ever feel like you're a little different? Do you ever feel like you don't quite fit in? So do serial killers. You may be thinking, don't compare me to a serial killer, so I won't, but I will compare them to each other. There are multiple different kinds of serial killers: organized, disorganized, and mixed. On top of that, there's a plethora of motives that they have for committing their crimes, ranging from thinking that God told them to kill to killing for media attention. As mentioned above, we have 3 different kinds of serial killers: organized, disorganized, and mixed. Organized serial killers have above-average intelligence. Their crimes are often planned. They typically kidnap their victims. They're geographically mobile, meaning that they often have an area where they won't kill to avoid being detected. So they'll drive further out of their way to pick a victim and then to kill and dispose of the victim. They go to great lengths to make sure their victims aren't discovered. As mentioned before, they'll drive great distances to get away and make sure that they can have a better way of getting away with the murder. They're socially adequate. They don't have a problem superficially connecting with other people, so they're often seen as the nice guy. They lure with sympathy. Ted Bundy often would feign a broken leg and ask for help getting something into his car. They return to the scene to see what the police know, or they contact the police or the media. They're concerned with their outward appearance, so they typically have nice cars and they dress nicely. They may be loners, but if they are, it's certainly by choice. Organized killers are more likely to dismember their victims. They have a specific type, and they're considered likable, and are most likely to be described as by acquaintances as a nice guy. An example of this would be John Wayne Gacy, or Ted Bundy, who was an organized killer but then later regressed into a disorganized killer with the sorority house murders, and also the BTK killer. So then after that, we also have disorganized killers. Disorganized killers are pretty much the opposite of organized killers, as you can tell by the name. They have a lower intelligence. They don't have a specific type of person that they're going after. They don't dispose of the body, or if they do, they don't do it very well. They do blitz attacks, meaning that they'll attack randomly, and they don't, like I said, they don't have a specific type, so they'll go after just anybody that they feel they want to. They don't bother covering their tracks, or if they do it poorly. They're often socially inadequate. They may have a history of mental problems. They are often described as eccentric or creepy. They are most likely to participate in necrophilia. They have poor hygiene. They may also return to the crime scene. However, with the organized killers, they return to the crime scene to see what the police know, whereas the disorganized killers go back to the crime scene to relive memories and not to see what the police know, just to relive what acts they committed there. They're not concerned with staging, dismembering, or moving the body. Sometimes they contact the victim's family to taunt them. They have little insight to their crimes. Sometimes they even shut down their brains to that part of their lives, and they don't really know what they did. They don't feel bad for what they did, often. They often keep diaries. They are often high school dropouts. They're fascinated with self-help programs. An example of this is Jeffrey Dahmer, who became extremely interested in Christianity after his incarceration. They also depersonalize their victim. They don't see their victim as a human, and that's what allows them to do horrible things to them. They often leave footprints, fingerprints, or the murder weapon at the scene, but even due to all of that, they're extremely hard to catch because they are extremely unpredictable. An example of disorganized killers is Jeffrey Dahmer, because he had severe mental problems, and although he had some organized characteristics, like luring his victims to his house and dismembering his victims, his disorganized characteristics were stronger than the organized ones, like the body parts that he dismembered he kept in his apartment. His neighbors actually smelled the body parts and thought that it was just horrendous cooking. So then we have mixed killers. These mixed killers may involve more than one killer. unanticipated events, or the victim may resist. There may be some evidence of planning but poor concealment of the body. The crime scene may be in disarray. And there's often a lot of manual violence. Overkill is very common with mixed killers. An example of this is Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker. He brought a weapon with him and had a police scanner, but he entered the homes of his victims at random and decided in the spur of the moment whether or not he would kill his victims. There are also motives. The motives that all serial killers go by are either visionary, mission-oriented, hedonistic, whether for lust, for the thrill, or for comfort or profit, as well as power or control, and to impress the media. So we know that no two people are exactly alike, and that goes for serial killers as well. While we may never fully understand these people, we can get a closer look at what makes them tick. And remember, if you smell something horrendous coming from your neighbor's apartment, you should probably just call the police.